So now that we've loaded in our model, the next thing I'm going to do is apply colors and materials to our 3D objects. In order to do that, I'm going to select our object and then go to the Color and Materials tool inside of the Jig toolbar. Now you can see that by clicking and dragging on our color slider, I'm able to edit the color of our 3D model. I'm also able to edit the material of our model by selecting through the material library. We have a number of different materials to choose from. So you can see we have this car paint, we also have this bronze material. But in this case, I'm going to select the copper and I'm then going to edit the color and make it a soft grey. So now when I click off our object, you can see that that material has been applied, and with the addition of the color change, it now looks like a silver brushed metal. Now in order for me to further edit these materials, I'm actually able to customize these inside of the Object Properties panel. Now inside of here you can see that we have some more advanced material settings. We're now able to customize the color using a hash code. This can be a great way of ensuring that your company colors and branding are applied to the 3D models in your scene. I'm also able to edit our object's transparency, and I can apply an emissive color in order to make certain objects in my scene appear to glow. You can see that I can make this glow a bright red, or I can make it fully white. This can be a great way for you to highlight certain objects within your scene, or you can add it to certain models within your scene, like lights, in order to indicate that they're actually glowing. Now in order to show you some of our more advanced settings, like the normal roughness and metalness, I'm going to swap into a different material that better shows these off. Now I'm happy with the rim of the jet engine being this color, but I'd like to select this outer casing. So in order to do this, I'm going to swap into sub-object mode, and I'm then going to select this outer casing, and then in order for me to multi-select both pieces of this casing, I'm going to press and hold down Shift, and while holding down Shift, any object I select will be added to that selection group, and to remove that I just need to click on that again. I'm then going to go to our Color and Material tool, and I'm going to change this material to the carbon fiber. So now when I zoom in on our 3D model, you can see that we have this carbon fiber material applied. Now in order for me to edit this, I'm going to go into our Object Properties panel and scroll down. And firstly, I'll begin editing our normal value. By dragging down this slider, you can see that I'm able to reduce the level of height information that's applied to this material, and I'm also able to bring back that height information by dragging the slider up. I can further edit our roughness by dragging this down. This will make our material more shiny, and if I also add some metalness, I can make this material appear very metallic and shiny at the same time. And by reversing these values, I'm able to make this material appear a lot rougher and a lot softer, as though it's got a smooth touch finish on it. Now, if you ever want to reset these materials values back to the Jig Workshop standard, you'll see we have this arrow, and that will allow you to reset these material values. Then you'll see that these settings have returned back to their initial values. Now in this case, I'd like for these outer casing pieces to be a shiny plastic material. So I'm going to scroll down and select that from our materials library. I'm then going to customize that color to be a soft grey. You can see that we do have some shine appearing on this fin, but I'd like to increase this a bit. Now in order to do this, I'm going to go to our roughness value, and I'm going to drag this down to increase that reflective surface. And if I zoom down, you can see that we now have some of that reflective light visible on our model. So while it was initially set to 1, if I do drag this down to 0.5, I'm able to increase that reflectiveness or shininess of the material surface. And when I zoom out, you can see that this effect is now looking pretty good. It's nice and shiny, it looks brand new, as though it's just come out of a showroom. Now the next thing I'd like to do is edit the color I currently have on my propeller here. Now in order to do this, I'm going to select this object and go to our color tool. I'll drag this down to make it a bit darker. Now if I ever want this toolbar to be positioned onto the side of my screen, I just need to go to the bottom of the toolbar and press on the pin tool. And that's going to snap our toolbar to the right hand side of our screen. This can provide you more of a window in which you can work with your 3D model. So with this selected, I'm also going to scroll down to our roughness value. I'm going to increase the roughness on this propeller in order to achieve a bit more of an industrial look. So now I have the materials and colors I want applied to these external pieces. The next thing I'd like to do is begin applying the colors and materials to the internal components. Now to start off with, we have this 3D model of the jet engine. So with this object in our scene, I'm going to go to the object list. And once I open this up, you can see that we have our jet engine workshop model. So if I select this model in the list, you can see that it's been selected inside of that Jig Workshop 3D scene. Now I'm also able to use this drop down in order to reveal the individual meshes or sub-objects that make up this 3D model. And as you can see, I'm able to select the individual models inside of this jet engine in order to edit them. And you can see I'm also able to select this outer casing, and by turning on the hide tool, I'm able to turn off its visibility, and I'm actually able to select through this hidden model in order to select and edit these internal components. Next, I'm going to select a couple of these internal pieces and apply colors and materials. And once this is complete, in order for me to restore that external casing, I just need to go back to the object list and turn off the hide tool. That should restore this outer casing and allow me to now select and view this inside of the Jig Workshop. Now if I wanted to select these objects and give them labels, you can see that this label field is currently empty. But another feature that we have available by swapping into object mode is the ability to use the names from files. So I'm able to take the names found in our object list that are a part of these 3D model files and apply them to the 3D objects in our scene as labels. Now the Add Content menu has a number of different options to choose from. You can choose to import your own CAD files into your Jig. You can select a 3D model from our model library or from your Team Objects library. You can also load an image or video into your Jig, and you're able to bring in a 2D text object into your 3D space. And finally, we have the ability to save your currently selected 3D object into your Team Object library. So once we've applied our colors and materials to this 3D model, I can select our object and go to the Add Content menu and save our object to the 3D model library. I'm also able to move around this screen in order to get a clean thumbnail image, and I can edit the name of this 3D model. So I'm going to press save, and I'm going to save this model to our Team Model library. And once this model's been saved, if I go to the Add Content menu and look inside the model library, you can see that inside Team Objects, our 3D model has been applied to our 3D model library. And if I click on this model, I'm able to add it to my jig, and it also contains a number of the different details relating to this 3D model.